Welcome back to the Cinema Psycho Show. This week, in honor of Halloween, we had a chance to sit down and talk with silver screen legend Adrienne Barbeau. Adrienne is most notable for Maude, Swamp Thing, The Fog, Escape from New York, and of course, Creepshow. Adrienne takes us on a tour of her career, including her early successes in theater, her transition to television, and of course to the silver screen, working with her then husband at the time, John Carpenter. It was an absolute joy talking with Adrienne, and I can't wait to share this with you. So without further ado, here is our exclusive interview with silver screen legend and genre favorite, Adrienne Barbeau. Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, my fellow co-host and filmmaker, John Wolfscross. And we've got a special guest, right, with us today?
Not just a special guest. We have film icon,
legend,
Adrienne Barbeau.
Yes. Welcome, Adrienne,
Thank
to
you.
our humble podcast.
Oh, thank you. It's not so humble in this beautiful abode.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
This building, like, if I ever brought anybody to my neck of the woods, I'd be like, well, we're going to take you to the Warner because
Yes.
you're going to just be astonished by its beauty. But
yeah, no, this is literally, I've said this before to John, I really believe this is like the most beautiful movie house I have ever been in.
I think it is. And I've been in a couple that are
couple.
beautiful, but this one is remarkable.
there's something I wanted to ask you, because you've done it all in terms of theater, Iceman, Comic Grease, among many others, television, film. What is the difference between those particular types of mediums? And is there a different approach you take as an actress depending on whether it's theater production, television, or film?
Well, of course, with theater production, you're rehearsing. You rehearse for, depending upon the production, anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 weeks to the last stage production I did was Pippin. I played the grandmother who sings the song from the hanging upside down from the trapeze, 15 feet in the air. And they were already on the road with it, so I ended up with less than a week rehearsal. But, and when we did Maude, we also did it like a play. We rehearsed for 4.5 days and then went on camera in front of a live audience and just did it straight through. So that's one of the technical differences. For me, the big difference is I don't like getting my energy up at night to go on stage for 3 hours. I'd rather get up at 4:30 in the morning and show up on the set at 5:30 or 6 and sit in a trailer all day to shoot, 45 seconds worth of film. But from a technical aspect, those are the major differences. Film, of course, you've got more time. There's more takes, there's more setups, but
You can make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like dominoes, right?
Yes, you can make a mistake.
It's like dominoes. You with theater, it's like you got a one-shot deal,
That's
right?
it.
Like it's one shot, we got to
That's
get it
it.
all. But like with film, it's like, okay, no, I screwed up that liner.
Yeah.
I could have said it this way. It's
Yes.
like, okay, well, we can do another one. It's not
Yes.
no one's gonna die. That
Yeah.
sort of thing. You're not gonna get bad reviews later after the theatrical production. Be like, oh well.
But also with film but more so with film, I mean, you are truly dependent upon the director's vision. I mean, I did Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Yep.
It was like a one day shoot, one scene, I think it was, with Malcolm McDowell. And I got a call one afternoon from Rob saying, "Are you going to the premiere tonight?" I said, "No, I didn't even know it was premiering." He said, "Oh, good, because I wanted to let you know your scene didn't make it into the film."
What's that like though?
You know,
like when you do give your energy to something and then you do find like, oh, I didn't make the cut.
Well, that's the only time it's happened. No, let's see. There was another, can't remember what it was. There was something else where I was really happy with one scene, and it was the only scene that didn't make it. I mean, the character was throughout. I can't even remember what it was. But what are you going to do? I mean,
That's show business. Now, you had mentioned Maude, which is one of the greatest shows of all time, in my humblest opinions. Now, when you get a pilot script sent to you, you hope that the show will be successful, so you have continuous work. But did you know, like, just reading the script for Maude, like, oh, if the network gives us a chance and the audience is there, this is going to be like really something great? Or was it just, do you find that on an ongoing performance like that over time that, like, hey, this is really clicking?
I had never done television when they hired me for Maude, and I had never really watched it because I was a stage actress. I was working at night, I went to New York, and I started doing theater almost immediately after I got there, and spent 8 years being on stage.
If our microphones are big, our table was squeaking a little bit.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
And I was living in New York. I was doing Grease when they hired me to do Maude. And so I just remember, I don't think I ever thought of it in those terms. I just remember when I went to LA, I took an apartment on a month-to-month lease because who knew if we were going to, go any farther. Yeah. I had more of a response to what you're asking with Carnival.
Oh, okay.
I read the screenplay of Carnival, and I thought, oh, this is fantastic. This is wonderful. This is wonderful. And I never questioned anything, about the future. And then, of course, after 2 seasons, we got
It was such a brilliant show.
It was a fantastic job. It was just the greatest.
That's one of those things, like HBO is like, they did the same thing with Rome.
Well, they did the same thing with Duster. I was just in the first season of Duster and looking forward to the second season because my character was going to be developed, and it's gone. What can you do?
Yeah, show business, man. Show business, man.
So obviously, you worked with your former husband, John Carpenter. I've worked, I work with my fiance. She's an actress as well. What is the difference between working with somebody that you have that close a relationship with as compared to like a director in a more platonic or a complete stranger situation? What is that? Is it the same process? Is it business is business, or is it a little bit different?
Well, I met John on Someone's Watching Me. So we worked together as director actress before we ever knew each other. So then by the time we did The Fog, we were involved. We were romantically involved. And I remember the first day we were determined that nobody was going to think that I was getting preferential treatment because I don't remember if we had gotten married already, or I'd have to go back and think about the sequence of events, but because we were together. So we took separate hotel rooms on the location, and at the end of the first day, John came up to me and said, "I'm not having any fun." I said, "I'm not either. Let's forget about that and let's get back to..." But, I mean, the real difference is I trusted him completely.
Right.
And he trusted me. And because we knew each other first as actor-director. When I showed up on the set for George or for Wes or for any of the other directors, I mean, I knew almost immediately that I could trust them, but you don't know that going in. I mean, you don't know how much support you're going to get, how much guidance you're going to get, how much direction you're going to get, let's say. Right. The film that we're screening tonight at the Erie Horror Fest, in addition to The Fog, called 80’s, I just had met the director once when he approached me about doing it because he knew my older son through school, and called and said, we have a project, but I liked him immediately, and that carried through when we started working together. And I knew very quickly that he knew what he was doing. And we just finished doing a feature-length film together called 80’s. Not the same story in any way as the short, but you know pretty fast whether you're going to get help, whether you're going to get, I'm not going to say anymore.
Well, I mean, that's a question I have is like, obviously like with John Carpenter, like you were in, you were married to him at one time. When you were working on projects while that was going on, did you like have that kind of early access to see what the material was and, be able to kind of give some insight like, hey, I think this might work? Or was it more or less kind of segmented out and you really didn't get that until you were on set?
There was only one moment, and it was on set with The Fog, when John gave a direction that I disagreed with. I had the advantage with The Fog and with Escape from New York that, he basically wrote the characters with me in mind. He had, if you know anything about John, you know that he was a huge fan of Howard Hawks and the Howard Hawks woman. Yeah. Lauren Bacall and Katharine Hepburn, and which is the reason he hired me to begin with in Someone's Watching Me, I think, because he didn't know me, but he saw in my performance in Maude, I believe, I've never really pinned him down on what it was, a woman who could be strong but funny, hopefully, or, that had the qualities that he was looking for, that he wrote. And so he wrote Stevie Wayne with me in mind. But we were on the set, we were doing the scene in The Fog where the board, the piece of the driftwood had just burned up.
Yeah.
And I just put it out. And John said, okay, sit down and we'll get started. And I said, sit down? Oh, John, I don't think she'd sit down. She's way too upset over. Okay, stand up and we'll get started. And that was the only. And I don't remember ever. I remember on the set of Escape, Harry Dean had a tendency to want to go off script and extemporaneously, come up with some lines. And John was, with John, at least at that time, I don't know if that's changed, but, the words are on the page.
It's like what I wrote is what it's
what
written,
I wrote.
and
I came from theater, so I'm going to do what's on the page. With Rob Zombie and that scene with Malcolm, he just wanted it. There was a scene, I guess. I don't even remember. But it was like, why bother to memorize it? Because he just said, ad lib, you can do this, you can do that. And it's different.
Yeah. Now, you've done a lot of voice acting work as well. Mm-hmm. Is that just kind of come par for the course of being an actress, or were you just an in-person actor and somebody said, hey, you've got a great voice, you should try this as well?
In about 1984, my older son had just been born. Cody had just been born. And I got a call from an agent at William Morris who had heard me on $20,000 Pyramid because I was a big Pyramid winner, And she said, I think you've got a great voice for voiceovers, for commercials and animation and stuff like that. Okay. I didn't want to work as much because I had a baby, a newborn baby. I wasn't going to go to New York to do stage because John and I had separated, and I wasn't going to take Cody away. And so I thought, okay, let me try this. And she sent me to Andrea Romano for an animation class. And I studied that, and I started doing television commercials, or auditioning for them at least, and getting them, and books on tape and things like that. And then I guess it was 1990, 91. My agents called and said, we've got an audition for you for Catwoman in Batman the Animated Series. And I had done a bunch of one-offs on cartoons, no series at that point, but guest stars or, individual characters. I went in, and it was a 30-second audition. I'd never seen, I had really never seen Batman, or I'd never heard any of the women. I knew Eartha Kitt because I grew up listening to Armenian records, and she had a song on one of the Armenian records that I listened to. But I just went in and did what I thought that character would do, how she would sound or how she would deliver. And they called me a month later and said, well, you got it, And but it's only been in the last couple of years that people have realized that who the voice actors were,
Right.
For years, I don't think anybody paid any attention to voice acting.
Well, it's become its
Scooby-Doo
its own like star thing. Like,
It
you see
has.
like Tara Strong and you, of
Yes,
course. Like I know
yeah.
for me, like I was an absolute fan of Batman the animated series, John as well.
Yeah, it meant that.
And when did you know that who was doing the voices?
I
When
mean,
did
it
cross your
wasn't
mind?
until the past couple of years, but it's a
Yeah.
thing where like your performance as Selena Kyle, I think is interesting because you're coming right off the tail end of Batman Returns, right? Like that, we have the Michelle Pfeiffer version of Catwoman, and what you did is you kind of took it from that and humanized it more than Tim Burton's bizarro worlds. Like that's what I love about your performance is we get more of Selena Kyle's backstory.
I see.
In that
See, and
thread.
I never saw Michelle. I never saw that
Never.
film. I didn't have any idea what was going on. But the reason I mentioned Andrea Romano is because then I show up on the set for Batman, and Andrea is our booth director, and I mean I owe her a lot. For your audience who doesn't understand how it works, we're all just sitting at music stands and we have our words in front of us, but we don't have any storyboards. We don't know what the visuals are. And so I still remember doing a scene where Catwoman is running across the roof and she jumps down onto the street. And I ran across the roof and I jumped down on the street and I landed. And Andrea said, Adrienne, the building is about 20 stories higher than what you just jumped off.
Like this isn't a
Okay,
mini
let
mall.
me
This is
land,
Gotham City.
Really
Okay.
land, that kind of thing. But I guess it was just my idea of what I was reading on the page because I didn't know any of that. That's the first thing I've ever
But that's
heard.
good though. That's awesome.
okay.
It's awesome because like an actor's interpretation of a character, and with a character like Catwoman, which you've seen many different iterations, every actor brings something else to it. They bring something different to it. But like for me, what I just noticed with it was how like Tim Burton has a version of Catwoman, and I do think like that did influence the animation style of Batman, the animated series. But like you brought a voice to it that took it to a whole other level.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
That's as a fan saying that. That's someone who is a fan.
So, I'm sorry, what was her name? Romano?
Andrea Romano.
Romano.
Yes.
I think we're running short on time, so I just want to go from a Romano to a Romero.
Yes. We're Pittsburgh
you-
people,
you
so we
worked
got
for
it.
that
We
one.
got to do that.
Yeah, the
You had to
show
work for
is
that one.
global, but yeah, we're from Pittsburgh, so I would be remiss if I didn't ask you
Yes.
what it was like to work on Creepshow and work with George.
Creepshow and Two Evil Eyes.
Yes,
Which
that's
nobody
right.
ever remembers, But I love George. I just love George. And I'm the first one to say that Billy in Creepshow, I owe her all to George because, when I got the script, I didn't know who George Romero was. I'm not a horror fan and everything. And I read it and I thought, oh God, I can't do this. This is really gross. And those cockroaches and the language and I can't, no, I'm not going to do this. And Tom Atkins is a very, very close friend. Yeah. And he had already been cast as the dad. And so I called Tommy and I said, Tom, you're doing this movie for, and of course I'm married to John at the time. And he's saying, you're going to turn down a George Romero film? Are you nuts? and Tommy said, oh, 80, you don't understand. It's going to be very stylized. It's going to be very funny. It's a cartoon. You got to do it, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I don't drink. I've never drunk. I didn't like it when I tried it and I just don't like the taste. So I've never been drunk. And I showed up on the set and I pretty much said to George, look, I'm going to do what I'm doing. And if it's not right, you better send me home, And George was the one who said, "You can go bigger. You can go bigger. Take it far. You can go bigger." And I'm like, John Carpenter is saying, keep it small, and do less. And I'm still learning at that time, in my first couple of films. So George really gave me Billy, and she's one of my favorite characters. I love her.
I would say, like, for me, the highlight of Creepshow is Billy, because it's so, and it's very counter to like your other characters that you were in other films, right? But
strong,
like,
nuance,
just like you're laying in every moment. I just crack up.
But I always say, especially to actors, when you get a role like that, you can't just play how do I want? I guess I can say this. She's an unmitigated bitch.
Oh yeah, no, we're explicit podcast.
But you don't play just nasty bitch. You have to understand why she's like that. And I did understand why she was like that. Her life didn't turn out the way she wanted it to. She married this guy she thought was going to be huge in the academic field, and she's not the queen of Carnegie Mellon or wherever, you know. And she's disappointed. She's disappointed in him. He didn't take care of her. He didn't, and so she starts drinking. And when I first moved to New York, I worked for the mafia in a nightclub. I was just a barmaid. Yeah. But my boss had an ulcer, and he used to always pour a shot of scotch and then add milk to it, and that's what he drank. And delicious. So when time came for Billy to have that drink while she's reading the letter, I thought, well, I've got to do this. I mean,
So funny. Well, Adrienne, I could talk to you forever, but I'm getting the signal to get up and get going. So I just want to say, for me, thank you so much. This has been beyond an honor, and thank you so much for the many, many years of wonderful performances and and being a part of my childhood, my adulthood, and it means the world to me. So thank you so much for giving all you have to us, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes, You're welcome. And keep an eye out for the feature Oddities. It'll probably be in 2026, but I think it's going to be.
We'll keep the word on the podcast. Yeah.
Okay, great.
As it's coming around.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you again to Adrienne Barbeau for sitting down and talking with us. She was an absolute joy to talk to. And special thanks, of course, goes out to the Erie Horror Fest for making this interview happen. Really, we would not have been able to do it if it wasn't for their assistance, and of course inviting us up to their amazing festival. If you've loved this episode, please do me a favor and share it. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your favorite horror fan. There's always somebody in your family who loves horror movies. Share this podcast with them. They might like it. And of course, if you really want to help us out, do me a favor and follow us on your favorite podcast platform of choice. You can do that by going to cinemapsychoshow.com/follow. Got buttons right there. Just click one and boom, you're following us. Of course, if you are watching us here on YouTube, hey, thank you so much for doing that. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications, and hit the like button. And of course, consider throwing in a comment here and there. What's your favorite Adrienne Barbeau movie and or TV show and or voice acting and or theatrical production? What is it? Let us know in the comments. And with that said, we will see you next time.